something happened in 2014, 15, I don't know when, and the polls just started to make no sense. I have this tweet here from Harry Enton, forecaster, who said October 25th, 2016, at this moment, every single national poll would have to be wrong for Trump to win. Possible? Sure. Would I bet on it? No, I'm not an idiot. This is highlighted by Michael Tracy, who said that he decided to take a quick gander at what some of our leading data pundit prognosticators were saying at this point in 2016. Did it turn out that every single national poll was wrong? Yes. But their forecast, the margin of error, so it's not like they were that wrong, but something is amiss. Is Donald Trump on track for a glorious and resounding re-election victory? I don't know. Is he on track for a glorious and resounding defeat? Victory by Joe Biden? I don't know. But Battleground polling is looking really good for Donald Trump and the Republicans as of right now. Cannot be denied. Things may change. We're still a week away from the actual election. And early voting data doesn't, it fluctuates a bit. It's probably not good to opine on, but I think the data looks good for now. Democrats are supposed to be leading right now. They're the ones who are pushing really hard for early voting and mail voting. And the Republicans are either leading in many key states or trailing very, very closely, suggesting, based on polling data from CBS, in key battleground states, more people who support Trump have not voted than support Biden. So basically, for every 100 voters, 50 for every 100 voters who have not voted yet, 59 in one state would be for Trump and 40 would be for Biden, meaning the remaining push of ballots is going to swing heavily Republican. Trump might actually win. I wanted to show you this tweet where Harry said every poll would have to be wrong for Trump to win, because I did a segment where I said the same thing. I was like, I don't know, man. Could you imagine every pollster being out of a job because you can't make it twice in a row? Maybe they're really convinced Trump's going to lose. But if it could happen in 2016, why couldn't it happen again? Well, some people say that would be like saying lightning would strike twice, but that misses the real issue at hand. Something changed. Something changed. Now, many people like to say, Tim, that's wishful thinking. They just made a simple mistake back then. They didn't realize how close the margins were. Okay, yeah, for sure. I don't know. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying, isn't one of the possibilities that the internet has altered who is voting, how they're voting, and the pollsters can't adapt to it? To put it simply, perhaps the change from 2012 to 2016 was so dramatic, forecasting based off of 2012 was meaningless. And the change from 2016 to 2020 was so dramatic, forecasting based on 2016's results is meaningless. There's an old saying, humans will not have to adapt to change. They'll have to adapt to the rate of change. Could it be that information technology is changing minds so rapidly that you can't just look at 2018 results, 2016 results, and say, you know what's going to happen? Maybe polling is broken. Or maybe Trump is going to get crushed. I don't know for sure, but let's take a look at the data. As of right now, Battleground Senate from Target Early 2020, early election and absentee vote report. In the Senate battleground states, Republicans are winning 46.4 to 44. Now, there is some bad news. Around the same time, proportionally, Democrats were lower, Republicans were higher, but it's not really bad news. What this means is it's proportions. In 2018, Republican early and absentee vote, as of this time, was 4.5 million, compared to Democrats' 3.7. Democrats are voting early in larger numbers, with 8.6 million to Republicans, 9. But Republicans doubled their turnout. They're still winning. And Republicans are still expected to show up in droves on election day. This seems like Republicans are tracking to reclaim the Senate. It seems crazy to me, and maybe they'll lose. I'm not saying I know for sure. Look, we're in the middle of the game, okay? Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, I'm sure many of you have watched sports where you're like, there's no way, the Cubs are going to come back from this one down 3 runs, and then somehow they pull it off in like the last 2 innings, and you're like, what? How did they do that? Maybe Democrats will. Maybe Republicans will. Check out the battleground states for president. This should be the most alarming to Democrats. 45.9% in favor of Democrats versus 43.9% in favor of Republicans. So percentage-wise, 10.2% unaffiliated. Unaffiliated typically leans slightly to the left, but pretty much split. So I don't think we necessarily take that into consideration. For the most part, we can see the Democrats are leading by just under 700, about 600,000 or so votes in the battleground states Trump needs to win to get reelected. Now, I could tell you it's bad news for Donald Trump because typically Republicans lead the early vote. And right now, Democrats are leading. But early vote does not mean more vote. People keep confusing this. They're like, can you believe how many people early voted already? Wow, it's like at 50% of what the total vote count was in this year. That might not change. Now, a lot of people are saying we're on track for a historic voter turnout. I believe that's true. But it doesn't mean that many of these places we're going to see that much bigger of a turnout. Like, so we've got about 15 million, 14.8 million in the battleground states the president needs to win to become president. It may end up being 20. I don't know. I don't know what the hard number is. It's probably more than that. I'm just saying we don't know what the total will be just because people are voting early. But it stands to reason in many of these key states, Donald Trump is on track to win. Let me show you the polls. Polling USA says presidential support by those who have already voted in Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina. Biden, 61, already voted. Consider this, already voted to Trump's 37. Georgia, Biden, 55, and North Carolina, Biden, 61 from CBS YouGov. Presidential support by those who have already voted. For those who have not voted, that means there are a lot of people who are pro-Trump. And I actually have that image. I'm showing you this one because it's funny. Catherine Falder says, when we boarded Air Force One just now, a printout of this poll was left on every seat in the press cabin. Polling USA says presidential support by those who haven't voted. 59% Trump, 54% Trump, 58% Trump, meaning as these battleground voters go and vote, they are more likely to be boosting the numbers for Donald Trump. And when Trump is only trailing by a few percentage points, but in these states, we've got 19 points, 10 points, and 17 points. Trump's going to get a very, very big boost. Now, I want you to just think about what that means. Could you imagine a scenario where every pollster was wrong, but so incredibly wrong? Biden's polling right now, I believe, nationally is like, he's polling like 9.2 points above Donald Trump, which is insane. If Donald Trump wins, the entire media ecosystem in terms of pollsters and universities, this whole thing, gone. Now, check this part out. In presidential battleground states, voters have cast 51.5% of the total votes counted in the 2016 general election. We're only halfway there. Now, I don't know about the rest of these states. We got a lot of votes to go. So we're looking at a total of 32 million votes in the battleground states. We're looking at just about 30 or so million more. If these are going to skew Republican, Trump might actually win. Wouldn't that be strange? They told us that early voting, absentee voting were skewing Democrat by huge margins. And that means, according to Nate Silver of 538, mail-in votes that come in late will probably be neutral or even lean Republican. On election night, we might actually see Donald Trump win re-election. I wonder about it. I do. Why is every single poll telling us this? Well, I got to be honest. I think something broke. I do. Look, I could be wrong. Far be it from me to question the experts, right? I don't know what their modeling is, but I think something broke. Maybe not broke, but maybe times have changed to such a degree. The internet has become much, much more prominent, more and more. Twitter was on the way out for a while. You know that? Twitter was dying until Trump came along. Perhaps things change so rapidly, polls make no sense. You know, I look at some of these polls, they're conducted over a week. The news might change so dramatically, we just have no idea. We really, really don't. But more importantly, it's the difference between 2018 and 2020 and 2016, 2018 and 2020. These pollsters will look at likely voters and say, this person's likely to vote. Are they accounting for the newly registered voters from Republicans? Are they accounting for urban liberals who have defected and joined Donald Trump? I don't think they are. They're mocking the idea. 538 said there's some wild theory that people won't admit they're voting for Trump. I tweeted, I wonder if polls could be skewed because some people refuse to admit publicly that, or to a pollster or whatever, that they're okay with people dying of COVID if it means getting their life back together. And I'm saying that in kind of a harsh way. I mean, like recognizing maybe there's nothing we can do. We just need to open the economy. That means people will die. People don't want to say it. In fact, you can't even really say it on the internet because you say the wrong thing about COVID, you'll get banned. So I wonder how many people are just not speaking up. And if that's the case, could the polls be dramatically incorrect? The response was, that's wishful thinking. Oh, people were saying like, here we go, trying to justify why they think they're winning, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I didn't say anything. I was wondering if there was going to be a bias in this poll. I don't know if Trump's going to win. But I think something's broken. I do. And I think Trump is close. I think I toss your coin, man. I don't know what's going to happen. I will tell you my personal bias, my gut feeling. My gut feeling is Trump victory. I just cannot see a Biden presidency. But that's meaningless because everybody said the same thing about Donald Trump winning. So that's your data. That's the tweet of what people were saying back in 2016. Every poll would have to be wrong for Trump to win. And then he won. So, yeah, he might win. He might lose. I don't know. I got a couple more segments in a few minutes. Stick around, and I will see you all shortly.